Have you ever stopped to wonder who are the strongest characters in the Boruto anime today? Well, when it comes to this topic, I know you already think of Sasuke and Naruto. But are they really the strongest ninjas in the world? Incredibly, they are far from it. So to find out, come with me because in today's video I will show you the 10 strongest characters in the Boruto anime. And I can already say that the first ones are characters that we can say are at the level of gods. Welcome to the Nerdficando channel. Now that some of the most powerful characters like Ishiki, Hashirama, and Madara are dead, other characters have to occupy the post of strongest ninja in the world. For this reason, I made this video to rank the 10 strongest characters in the world today. That is, I will not take into account characters that are already dead, like Kaguya, Ishiki, Hagoromo, or any other powerful character that is dead. And I will also take into account the power levels of each character at the exact moment I'm making this video. So if by any chance a character gets a nerf or a buff, I may bring you an updated video in the future. But anyway, that said, let's go video. 10th place Gaara. Starting our list, let's begin by talking about the former demon of the Sand Village, Gaara, who is currently the Kazekage of his home village. During that 15-year time skip between Naruto Shippuden and Boruto, Gaara demonstrated that he didn't spend all that time just sitting around straightening his hair. For during his battle against Momoshiki, Gaara demonstrated absurd speed with his sand manipulation. If before, back in the Chunin exam, his defense was already almost perfect, nowadays it is even more refined than ever, because he can keep up with the moments of an alien being that has powers far beyond an ordinary human being. Other than that, he also demonstrated a magnificent control of sealing jutsu. He was able to seal even Yurashiki for a few hours. Therefore, Gaara deservedly takes 10th place among the most powerful beings in the ninja world. 9th place Kabuto. To the surprise of many, Kabuto is currently in a higher position than Gaara. Just to refresh your memory, Kabuto managed to beat Sasuke and Itachi at the same time. And it's just that Itachi was in his strongest phase of all, which was in his Edo Tensei version, where he no longer had to worry about being tired or sick. And besides, Itachi had to resort to Izanami to win the fight, which is one of the most powerful genjutsu in the entire anime. Besides that, after the supposed death of Orochimaru, Kabuto injected Orochimaru's cells in himself and acquired several powers that the Sannin had before he died. He also learned how to use the Sage Mode, which, as you know, is a transformation that leaves its user at an overwhelming level of strength. And of course we can't forget Kabuto's Edo Tensei, which makes him able to summon a legion of the most powerful ninjas in history. Perhaps you are wondering why Killer Bee is not on this list ahead of Gaara or Kabuto, right? Well, although I believe that Killer Bee in his prime had even greater power than both of them, I think that Killer Bee has suffered a lot from old age in these last 15 years. An example of this was when Momoshiki came down to earth towards Bee, and captured him in an absurdly easy way. And it's just that Momoshiki was in his standard form. That's why I decided to put Kabuto and Gaara on this list instead of Killer Bee. 8th place Kashin Koji. Being the perfect copy of Jiraiya, Kashin Koji has all the skills and techniques of the late Sannin. For example, he is able to use Rinnegan, Sage Mode, Frog Invocation, and all Jiraiya's derived jutsus. Moreover, he has a taijutsu identical to Jiraiya's, so much so that Naruto realized that his way of fighting is just like that of the Sage Freak. And it's just that Jiraiya's taijutsu is so refined that he was able to clash with several of Pain's paths at the same time. The only thing that sets Kashin Koji apart is that he has a bust in all his physical abilities thanks to the scientific tools injected into his body. Other than that, during the battle against Jigen, Kashin Koji was able to trap Jigen until he got to the point where he took on the form of Otsutsuki. That was a feat that even Naruto and Sasuke couldn't do together. 7th place Naruto. Yeah, I know you didn't expect to see Naruto so early in this list, but thanks to the absurd decline that he had in his powers after Kurama's death, Naruto occupies the 7th position among the strongest ninjas of today. Because now without Kurama, Naruto no longer has that overwhelming chakra that made it possible for him to fight an entire war with multiple shadow clones without even stopping to rest. And he also lost most of his destructive power, something that was of great advantage in the fights. But even without Kurama, he is very far from being considered a failure. Because do you remember that with the Sage Mode, Naruto reaches a fighting power that surpasses even Pain's and rivals Obito using the Rinnegan? That's right, you can't underestimate Naruto in this form. 6th place Sasuke. Don't worry, I'll explain to you why Sasuke is above Naruto. Well, it's a fact that Naruto had power superior to Sasuke when he had Kurama. But after the nerf they both took, Naruto came out much more at a loss than Sasuke. I say this because the Uchiha rarely used the powers of his rinnegan during fights. He almost never used the power of the 6 paths, Shinra Tensei, Chibaku Tensei, and the infinite powers that this Dojutsu gives him. In fact, the only thing Sasuke did with the rinnegan was to teleport the enemy from one side to the other. We can say that he didn't use the rinnegan that well. In other words, even not exploiting all the powers that the rinnegan gives him, Sasuke still managed to beat up Naruto in Rikudo mode, Momoshiki, and also Ishiki. Therefore, thanks to his Sharingan and the powers derived from that Dojutsu, Sasuke still manages a plethora of powers that makes him surpass Naruto nowadays. 5th place Code. Now is where things go to another scale of power, as it is said that Code would be able to beat even Sasuke and Naruto before they lost their main powers. He carries white karma, which according to Amato, the way his body reacted to white karma gave him abnormally great power, so he set up some limiters to seal off Code's hidden power. Only recently, Amato was forced to remove these limiters from Code, and according to Amato himself, Code in this form comes to have a power that exceeds even that of Jigen. 4th place Boruto. Because he has Momoshiki's karma, Boruto ends up having all of Otsutsuki's powers, only in return, he loses his mind to Momoshiki's domain. In this form, Boruto achieves a strength and speed compared to that of Otsutsuki himself, for as we saw in the manga, he was agile enough to hit Sasuke's rinnegan without Sasuke noticing. Moreover, he can use the Rasengan in a way that can throw it long distance, something that not even the creator of the technique himself was able to do. Even though Code has unlocked all his limiters, I don't think he still has a strength capable of beating Momoshiki-controlled Boruto, because previously they had battled when Code was with his limiters, and he had no chance of beating Boruto. So even with the limiters unlocked, Code would hardly have any chance of winning. And we haven't seen Code using all his powers, so maybe in the future he will move up the list. 3rd place Kawaki. After Ishiki's death, Amato inserted a new type of karma inside Kawaki's body, making him have all the powers and Dojutsu of Ishiki when he was still alive. One of his powers is the Sukuna Hikona, which gives him the ability to shrink himself or any other object around him. He also has Dekokuten, a technique that allows him to summon any object from another dimension to attack the enemy in any way he wants. With these powers, Kawaki was able to destroy Code when they came into combat. Therefore, I place Kawaki in the top 3 list of the strongest characters of today. 2nd place Ada. Ada is a cyborg who came to the manga when Code was looking for new members for the new Gaara. To do this, he recruited Ada, a cyborg with absurd powers. Although she has not shown anything about her physical abilities, it has been said by her lover that her strength surpasses even Ishiki's when she is in Jigen's body. Furthermore, she possesses the Senrigan, a Dojutsu that surpasses even the clairvoyance of the Byakugan, because with this Dojutsu she can see everything that happens around the world. Yes, that's what you heard, she can see everything that is happening around the world. And she has a super stolen ability that makes any man or woman fall in love with her, except a relative or an Otsutsuki. Boy, think of someone with a stolen power like that of Ada. 1st place Daemon. Do not be fooled by the looks of this little child, for currently, Daemon is the strongest being in this world. His total strength is a complete mystery, but it is said by Amato that his power surpasses even Ishiki's, and that he didn't use Daemon to finish off Jigen himself because he couldn't control him. As a main power, Daemon has the very stolen ability to repel any enemy attack depending on the intent of the person delivering that blow. For example, if someone is going to attack him with the intent to kill, Daemon will repel this murderous intent for the person who tried to attack him. This will consequently cause that person to die due to his murderous intent. And during his fight against Code without the limiters, Daemon managed to defeat him in an extremely easy way. In other words, he lives up to his title of being the strongest in the world. Remember, this is my opinion and you have every right to disagree. So comment here below what is your top 10 strongest characters of today. Also do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because I am always updating the channel with videos about Boruto. On the screen is playing the 2 videos that are spectacular. Check them out.